So I'm here on the road in Prague with the flu, but of course this story is of such huge significance that I'm going to bring you another quick fire video. So BBC, CNN, a bunch of other mainstream media outlets are giving serious credence to this crazy father of the shooter's claims that he was just upset about two gay people kissing on the street and that was what triggered him to carry out the massacre, and that it has nothing to do with Islam. Well, of course, that very belief, that very emotional reaction that he would be upset about seeing two gay people kissing, is derived directly from Islam. Remember the poll out of the United Kingdom just a couple of months ago. 52% of Muslims think that homosexuality should be outlawed. Look at the polls of Middle Easterners who actually live in the Middle East. Those who believe in Sharia law. In many countries, the majority of them think that stoning gay people to death is perfectly acceptable. In 11 Islamic countries, gay people are still killed as state policy. Where's the left on that? Why are they only upset about gay people being killed when it's done by someone in the United States and when they can blame it on the Second Amendment? Let's go through some other points here. So again, BBC slammed Trump for political point scoring. But, Obama using it for political point scoring to demonize the Second Amendment, that's perfectly fine. We're not going to go after Obama for that. But how dare Trump send out a tweet saying that he predicted this all along, which he did. And the left is correct. Gun control will stop Islamic terror in Orlando. That's what they're saying. Gun control will stop Islamic terror like in Orlando. Because it works real good in Paris, didn't it? Some of the most restrictive gun control laws in the West, and yet jihadists were still able to get weapons. They were still able to carry out a massacre. This is not about frigging gun control. When will you get that? It's about Islam control. And you can go on my Twitter right now and see how many Muslims have reacted to this shooting, glorifying it, welcoming it. You had an article on a mainstream media website in Turkey saying that the gunman killed 50, quote, perverts. Again, this is how Islam views homosexuality. It's not a frigging newsflash. We've known it all along. So why is that narrative completely buried in the mainstream media coverage of this horrible tragedy? Why are they making it all about gun control? And again, I've seen gay people holding up signs outside the White House saying that the NRA is to blame for this. The NRA, really? Wayne LaPierre didn't do this. Responsible American gun owners didn't do this. Islam did this. His belief, his hatred was rooted in Islam's hatred of gay people. When are you going to get that through your thick skulls? Putting a rainbow filter over your Facebook profile picture is not a substitute for calling out the violent hatred towards gays within Islam. Sorry. That's not activism, that's virtue signalling, and it's being an apologist for the very mentality that has caused this bloodshed. And once again, we see political correctness claiming innocent lives. Political correctness kills. Remember San Bernardino, the Muslims moving into that area, receiving suspicious packages. The neighbours refused to report it to authorities because they didn't want to be seen as racially profiling. God forbid anyone might think they're racist. It led to the massacre in San Bernardino. And again, in Orlando, Florida, Omar Mateen, the gunman, working as a security guard, which is, by the way, how he was able to get some of those weapons. He had permits that other people didn't have. Working as a security guard for G4S Security, his colleague, a former police officer, complained time and time again to bosses that he was making hateful, homophobic, violent comments. He was unstable. He was unhinged. He was plotting violence. They did nothing. Why? Because he's a Muslim. Because in the oppression Olympics, he ranks above gay people. Because out of politically correct stupidity and cowardice, they refused to make anything of it. They gave him a free pass. And even when the guy who blew the whistle quit, Omar Mateen stalked him, harassed him with dozens of text messages a day. This guy was a hateful, violent individual about to explode. People reported him for it. The FBI knew about it. But they did nothing out of political correctness. Once again, political correctness kills. Yet what are we seeing once again? Just like after Paris. Hug a Muslim didn't work. Okay, being more politically correct, denouncing Islamophobia, saying that we need to unite, that the answer is more hatred. That's what emboldens these people even further. This is total weakness. And this politically correct mindset, this cuckoldry, is only going to lead to more bloodshed. So you have a devout Muslim, a registered Democrat, who is motivated by a hateful ideology, defended and supported at every turn by the left. Must be the NRA's fault, right? Yes, exactly. And then talking about his crazy family, he has a brother-in-law, again, who hates Trump, says that he worked with refugees, bought Mateen's house off him for $100. He's on Facebook blaming the NRA for his brother-in-law's hateful Islamic-based homophobic massacre. So even the brother-in-law of this individual is still replicating this politically correct bullshit that continues this cycle of violence. And then we have the censorship. Reddit censoring, deleting people's accounts simply for mentioning the fact that this guy was a Muslim. You have Facebook deleting Pamela Geller's account. Stop Islamization of the West. It's gone. Deleted. We can't have people drawing attention to the real source of the frigging problem. Just like Germany, where they've censored reports about migrants coming in planning terrorist attacks. The people cannot know the truth. And look at the number of meaningless, pithy, virtue-signalling hashtags that have trended on Twitter in regards to this Orlando massacre. I've already lost count. How many hashtags about the inherent violence within Islam have trended on Twitter since the Orlando shooting? None. Zero. Because people still don't frigging get it. This is not about gun control. This is about a violent ideology which the mainstream media and the left has legitimized, has failed to call out over concerns of Islamophobia and political correctness. More people are going to die because of this. We don't need more gun control. We need Islam control.